So The Death of Robin Hood was directed by Michael Sarnowski, and it stars Hugh Jackman, Jodie Comer, Murray Bartlett, Bill Skarsgård, a whole bunch of people appear in this movie, and it's about the tale of Robin Hood. Well, sort of. Robin Hood is kind of towards the end of his life after a huge battle where he kind of loses. He contemplates a lot of aspects about his life, things that didn't go too well for him, and basically we have this movie about him trying to reconcile with the nature of his character. So this was a movie I was kind of interested in, mainly because of Michael Sarnowski. He directed the movie Pig a few years back with Nicolas Cage, a movie that at first I thought was alright, but it has grown in my opinion. It's like, okay, I'm actually liking this movie a lot more now, and I was very curious to see that he was going to be doing another smaller movie after A Quiet Place Day One, which admittedly I also did like. So this movie, I was kind of curious because again, the cast sounded really good, like Hugh Jackman, Jodie Comer, and it looked kind of interesting, even though the movie wasn't marketed very well. And based on the box office for this movie, yeah, probably not a good idea to not really market this movie. But having seen the movie, I can say, yeah, this is a very difficult movie to market. This is a movie that I feel like I can see this movie having some sort of cult following in the next few years, but honestly, I think it's a little too disjointed. I think it's a little too drab. It's a little too dull. But there are some very interesting moments in this movie, so let's dive into it. First off, I do think all the actors do a pretty good job. Hugh Jackman, Jodie Comer, I thought they were both really good in this movie. There's also a brief moment from Murray Bartlett in this movie, which I won't spoil, but the scene itself is actually really good, and he's really good in it. The acting, for the most part, is solid. And also, the cinematography by Pat Scola is very gorgeous. Like, this is a very gorgeous movie overall. Arguably, I think this is Michael Sarnowski's best shot movie so far. And also, the music. Wow, the music is incredible in this movie. This is kind of like Disclosure Day, where it's like, I kind of want to just listen to this music because it's just so elegant. It's just so breathtaking. It's just so beautiful to listen to. It's melancholic, it's heartbreaking, it's powerful, it's uplifting. It's kind of like literally every emotion. And I feel like this music is actually kind of saving this movie for the most part. And I kind of like with this movie too, because like, we get so many Robin Hood movies out there, so many of them. And this movie actually doesn't really follow the Robin Hood tropes. It's kind of like after the fact. So it's like, that's kind of interesting in of itself. It's like, we kind of see like different takes on it, but like at the same time it's like it's trying to avoid those tropes and kind of trying to do something different. But just because you're trying to do something different, that doesn't mean your movie's going to be good. Mainly the issue that I have with this movie is its slow pacing and also like the first 30 minutes. The movie feels incredibly slow, and it's like it kind of feels like it's just kind of repeating itself, and it's just kind of annoying. This movie's about 2 hours long, which is about the normal length for a movie. And I can honestly feel like this movie is like 3, because this movie is just, it's taking its time to like actually do stuff that actually I don't really care about. Okay, maybe that's too harsh of a term, but like maybe because like it's just doing the same things over and over again, it just doesn't work. Also, I kind of felt like in the first 30 minutes of this movie, it was just the worst. Like it was just very slow moving, and by the time it kind of gets into the second and third acts of this movie, it's like, okay, I can kind of get invested in this movie a little bit more, even though, again, it is kind of repeating itself. And also, even though I do like the fact that it kind of subverts a lot of the tropes that we know of Robin Hood stories and such, the movie itself doesn't really feel connected to Robin Hood at all. I feel like it just kind of takes some names of the most famous characters of Robin Hood and kind of just makes them, kind of just gives the names to the characters rather than actually do anything with the characters. It just kind of felt like it was a movie that it could have been like its own thing without it being connected to Robin Hood and such, and yet the movie is like, oh, we kind of need to get this marketed somehow. What's a recognizable name? Robin Hood? Okay, let's just make this a Robin Hood movie, kind of. And also, I feel like this movie, even though, again, it's just constantly repeating myself, and I feel like I'm repeating myself just by the fact that I'm even saying that I'm repeating myself, it could have gone in a few unique directions. But like, there were times where I was watching it, I was like, man, wouldn't it have been really cool if this movie went into this direction, or wouldn't it have been really interesting if you kind of showed this angle instead? Because this movie, again, is just very drab and very dark and just kind of, it's, I feel like it may have been a little too dark. And it's like, maybe you should have had something that's like, okay, maybe you could have had some lighter moments here and there, but like, it wouldn't have overshadowed what you're trying to go for with this movie. But I felt like this movie may have been just too dark, and I felt like maybe it just hurt the movie more. Like, if you can at least get past like the first 30 minutes, it's fine. But if you can't, then I completely understand it. Again, I can kind of see this movie having some sort of like reappraisal or cult following in the next few years. I don't know if I would be one of those people, because again, I just feel like the movie is constantly dark and kind of repetitive and such. This movie is, without a doubt, very well acted, very well shot. The music is just incredible. And also, I do like the fact that it does subvert a lot of tropes that we know with Robin Hood and such. But again, even though it does subvert it, it doesn't entirely feel connected to the actual story. It just feels like it's just kind of taking the name and just giving the names to characters and such. It just doesn't work. And also, I feel like the movie has a very slow pace. The first act is kind of rough to get through. And again, I feel like I was just watching this movie and thinking a few things. It was just a little too dark, and it was like it could have gone more interesting directions and kind of had more interesting angles with the characters and such. But overall, it's a movie that I feel like is kind of misguided, and I think it could have been something really cool, but overall, it's just kind of a letdown. I'll give The Death of Robin Hood 2.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. Definitely not the worst Robin Hood movie of the last few years, but that's not really saying much. So, what is your favorite version of Robin Hood? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.